Okay, class, we're going to look at section 6.2 today. We are going to be doing graphing linear functions. Now, linear function is a special type of function that graphs a line. We dealt with several of those in chapter 5, where when we plotted them on a graph, it turned into a line. Those are actually called linear functions. Now, the basic parent function, what a parent function is it's the simplest equation of a function. So on a linear equation, the most simple form is y equals x. That is the most very simple type of linear or parent function to a linear function, and you can see that actually right down here. Y equals x, or f of x equals x. Okay, and a linear equation is an equation that models a linear function. This is basically the same thing as a linear function, but this one, it's called an equation. It's the same thing. On a y-intercept, the y-intercept is right where it's the y-coordinate of the point where a line crosses the the y-axis, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. We're going to talk about the slope-intercept of a line. Slope-intercept is a form of a linear equation written in the form y equals mx plus b, where the m is slope and b is your y-intercept. And we're going to use that type of information to be able to graph lines without having to make those XY tables like we had to do in chapter 5. It makes it a lot easier and more simple. But first we're going to start off by just identifying the slope and the y-intercept. If this slope-intercept form of an equation was y equals mx plus b, where your m is the slope and your b is the y-intercept. So the slope is the number before your x. So your slope in this case is going to be 3, and your y-intercept is going to be negative 5. So it's this number here is what gives us our y-intercept. All right, on letter B, our slope then is the number before the x, which is 7 over 6, and our y-intercept is negative 3/4. Okay, so our y-intercept is negative 3/4. So that's just how you identify what a slope is and what a y-intercept is. Now we can go backwards too. If we're given a slope and an intercept, we can write an equation. If we want to write it in the form y equals mx plus b, all right, slope is our m, 6 is our y-intercept. We just basically plug those numbers right in for m and b. So we get y equals 3/8 x plus 6. So that would be our equation. All right, on the other one, our slope is 2/5. Our y-intercept is negative 1. So we do y equals 2/5 x minus 1. So if we're given a slope and an intercept, a y-intercept, then we can go ahead and write the equation to a line. Now, we can look at some graphs to figure out what our slope is and what our y-intercept is, and we can write an equation from that graph. So if we're looking at letter A, we have a line, okay? If we can figure out what the slope is and the y-intercept by just looking at the graph, we can write an equation given a graph. So the first thing is slope. We figured out yesterday how to find slope. So we find 2 points on our graph that are crossing at nice even intersections like this one right here. We wouldn't want to pick, say, this one because we don't know where it is exactly on the on the x-axis. We know it's at 5 on your y-axis right here, but we don't know where it is on the x-axis. So we want to pick points that are exactly on a nice even intersection. So this one here would be good too. So we can count our rise over our run. So our rise, we go 1. Our run is a left negative 4, so we have to go left 4. So our rise of our run is 1 over negative 4, which means our slope is negative 1/4. Okay, now our y-intercept, to be able to figure that out, is we have to look at where the line crosses the vertical axis. We need to find out where does it cross. And it crosses at 3, so our y-intercept is 3. So now we can put those into our equation, y equals mx plus b, where negative 1/4 is our m, y-intercept is 3, so we do y equals negative 1/4 x plus 3. And this is the equation to that line. So the key is to find the slope, find out where it crosses your y-axis, and then plug it right into that y equals mx plus b form. Okay, example 4. All right, so here we're actually going to learn how to graph a line. We have the equation y equals 3x minus 1. Step 1 says to graph the y-intercept. Step 2 is from that y-intercept, use rise over run to find the next point. Draw a line connecting the two dots. So let's go down here. Let me pull my graph up, and we will follow those 3 steps. So on example A, we have y equals 3x minus 1. What we do is we start with our y-intercept. We know that this negative 1 is where our graph crosses that y-axis. So the first step is to put negative 1 on your y-axis. Now the y-axis is always this vertical one. So we're going to go to negative 1 on our graph. All right? Our slope is 3, and we can put that over 1. If it's a whole number, go ahead and put it over 1. So that means it's 3 over 1, which means we rise 3 and we run 1, and they're both positive. Okay, so we rise 3, we run 1 from the y-intercept. So if I want to go up 3 and right 1 to get to my next point, then I'm just going to count up 1, 2, 3, and then right 1. So that's going to put the point right here because we go up 3 and right 1, and so that gives us our point. So then we're going to do that again because we want several points on our graph. We go up 3, right 1, that will get us right here. Now, here's the thing, on graphing lines, we can also go the other direction. You can change the sign on both the numerator and the denominator and go the other way. So positive 3 over positive 1 is the same as saying negative 3 over negative 1, because if in a fraction, if both your numerator and your denominator are negative, then that whole fraction is positive. So we can also go down 3, left 1. So we can also go down 3, and we can go left 1 and get another point on our line, which is about right here. We connect our dots, and we have a line. All right, so let's try the next one. The next one, we start at negative 2 on our graph. So we're going to find negative 2 on our graph. Our slope is negative 3 over 2. So here's how you handle that. There are 2 ways you can do the negative. You can put the negative with the numerator, or you can put the negative with the denominator. It doesn't matter. So we can go in 2 directions. We can do negative 3 over positive 2, or we can do positive 3 over negative 2. We can do both directions. We'll start with negative 3 over positive 2. So negative 3 means we go down 3 units. And then positive 2 means we go right 2 units to get our point at right here. Okay, that's one way to do it. Now, if the negative is with the 2, then what we do is from this point we go up 3, and then we go left 2, and we get our next point. So we can go up 3, left 2. I want you guys to get 4 points on your graphs, at least 4 points. And this is how you deal with negatives. You just put it with one or the other, and you can go both directions. So now we connect our dots, and we have graphed our line. And that is the basics to graphing in slope-intercept form. And that is the end of section 6.2. Thank you for listening.